if you have used the Zammad API in n8n and tried to set up the workflow so that it triggers as soon as you receive a ticket, you would realize that you can't really do that. In fact, Zammad API in n8n by default doesn't have any trigger. Well, does that mean that it is impossible? Not exactly. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's very simple to implement and it's much more customizable than you might realize. To begin, add the webhook node in n8n, then copy the test or production URL. Then head on over to your Zammad domain, sign in if it asks you to, and then click gear icon in the bottom left of the screen. A new Manage tab should pop up. In it, first go to the webhook tab and click on New Webhook. Then in this new window, give the webhook any name you like. In the endpoint field, paste the n8n webhook URL you copied earlier. You can ignore the signature token. For the SSL verification, I would advise you to set up a username and password for security purposes. Since this is just a tutorial video, I will just set it to no. Future of harm here, I just want to mention that the SSL and the username and password fields are not linked, and you should ideally always enable SSL, whether you want a username and password or not. But for security purposes, it is highly advisable that you use both of these fields. Then click on Submit and new webhook should pop up. Then go to the Trigger tab and then New Trigger, and this is where the magic happens. Give it any name you like. The Activated By field just asks whether you want the webhook to activate in specific time intervals or by an action. Now, this is where your options become visible. You can do a lot here. For this video, we need to go to the ticket section and click Action. And then it should say Action is created. Then over here, click Webhook and then select the webhook you just created. So when you receive a ticket, the webhook will activate and click Submit. Now, if you did set up encryption, then you will need to go back to your n8n webhook node and set authentication field to basic auth and then create new credentials and fill the fields and you should be good. Now the setup should be complete. Let's test it. I have a secondary n8n workflow whose job is to create a ticket. Nothing fancy, as you can see from the AI agent description. Let's type in our text and start the workflow. Before this reaches the Zammad tool, I need to go and start our main workflow manually since I used a test URL. Now, as you can see, it is listening for events. Going back to our ticket sender, as you can see, it has successfully used the Zammad tool. So now, if we go to our ticket receiver, as you can see, it successfully receives the ticket. The amount of content that you are provided with is pretty insane and I like that. Now you can do whatever you want with this content. So that is pretty much it for this video. I really hope that you liked my new editing style and are looking forward to more content like this one.